Hello there! Welcome to this episode of Force Ghost Conversations. This is your host, Anthony King, and this week I'm going to take a deep dive look into the new trailer for Season 3 of The Mandalorian. Before we get started, I'm inviting you to join the conversation with us. We can be found on Twitter and Hive at Force Ghost Pod. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok just by searching Force Ghost Conversations. We look forward to connecting with you on those platforms. Also, please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on your listening site of choice. Finally, please be sure to check out our TeePublic store to buy some Force Ghost Conversations merchandise. And without further ado, it is time to gather around the campfire for some Force Ghost Conversations. Hey everybody, welcome back to another installment of Force Ghost Conversations. And man, is this a special one to get us into all that is exciting about 2023 and coming up. I mean, this is the way, folks. We got a new trailer for The Mandalorian Season 3. We got a poster all about it. I just can't wait to get into all the discussion about The Mandalorian and upcoming episodes that we'll have talking about the brand new season. It's just really an exciting time to be a part of the Lucasfilm family, as so much is getting underway in terms of marketing and getting the general hype train going. We're all on board, and I hope you are on board for all that fun as well at home. But before we get into our big topic discussion today, which is that Mandalorian Season 3 trailer deep dive, I'm going to run through the news that has taken place in the Lucasfilm Star Wars Willow Indiana Jones galaxy in our appropriately dubbed segment Cloud City Gossip. And obviously, got to start right on the top there with that cherry that is The Mandalorian. This is the way. And again, we've got a lot of Mandalorian news to cover in this episode, but uh, fans were, in addition to the main trailer, like I mentioned, fans were also treated to a new poster featuring our roguish hero and Grogu, which was released on social media ahead of the premiere of the trailer. And if you really want to, go check out that poster, which can be found on StarWars.com. It's pretty cool. It's got the Mando fighting off some fire, it looks like, or it looks like his cape is a little tattered and all that. It's just seems to be like he's escaping some action and fighting, and he's also protecting our little guy Grogu, who's like looking like he's situated in his against his armor and being held close and tight and being well protected as Grogu should be. Also, Lucasfilm officially announced the directors for season 3 of The Mandalorian, and taking the wheel behind the camera is Lee Isaac Chung, Rick Famuyiwa, Bryce Dallas Howard, Rachel Morrison, Peter Ramsey, and Carl Weathers. And it is great to see a mix of both new and familiar faces on that list. And to the new faces, welcome to the Lucasfilm family. We look forward to welcoming you with open arms to this great community and to see the great work that you're doing on The Mandalorian. Additionally, folks, next Wednesday, January 25th, a new documentary will be released on Disney Plus titled Willow Behind the Magic. A brief trailer for this documentary can be found on YouTube right now, but as you can probably surmise, it is all about the making of the brand new Disney Plus series Willow, kind of similar to what they've done for the Disney Gallery and the behind the scenes that they've done for both Book of Boba Fett and the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. And you can rest assured that we will certainly be covering this content very soon here on Force Ghost Conversations, so probably within the next week or two. Get ready for all of that. And finally, it was announced this week that a John Williams documentary is in the works from Steven Spielberg and his production company, Amblin. The maestro is celebrating 90 years of his life and going, and he's continuing his momentous stride in Hollywood with especially the upcoming Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and I'm sure he's going to get some award, at least nominations for his work on The Fabelmans. Where would we be without the music and magic of John Williams, I ask you all? I don't even want an answer to that because that is a timeline that I don't even want to consider. We don't have a release date yet for this documentary, but again, we will certainly be discussing it once it is available, as John Williams is integral to the life that I currently live right now, but also to, I imagine, a lot of Star Wars fans, Indiana Jones fans, Jurassic Park, Jaws. It's all at the heart of everything that you can imagine as being a fan of film and fandom, right? It's all the center, and I think John Williams is there for all of it. So with that, folks, that is all the news that I had compiled for this week. We're going to take a quick little break here, and on the other side, we'll be back to talk some Mandalorian Season 3 trailer. We'll be right back, folks. All right, everyone, it's main event time here. It's time to talk about the Mandalorian Season 3 trailer. Now, I just had a question to start all this. Did you all watch How did you all watch the trailer? I'm just curious about that to begin with because I'm a fan of football, right? I like to watch sports and all that in my spare time whenever that is available. Did you watch it during the premiere at halftime of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Dallas Cowboys playoff game? Or did you forego that experience and watch it on YouTube, perhaps when it premiered went live on that site? I'm just curious. I would love to know kind of the thought process through that, or if if you're not into sports, or if you're a little casually into sports, did you participate by just having it on the background, waiting for the trailer? I don't know. I always find that this is fascinating because I know that Disney loves the synergy between things, and in previous years they've released Star Wars trailers at halftime or during commercial breaks of certain sporting events, and I was just wondering if the fandom really responds to that well. You gotta imagine that Disney's a big fan of it because the playoff game premiered on ESPN, which is also a brand that they own, so it kinda just makes sense overall. But looking forward to having this ultimate discussion with you all about this trailer. Now, for those of you who may have joined the Force Ghost conversations since or, maybe since we have done a trailer discussion, this is kinda how the rules work for this. I have the trailer pulled up on YouTube right now. It is called The Mandalorian Season 3 official trailer. It's on the Star Wars YouTube page. All you need to do is search Mandalorian Season 3 trailer, and I believe it's the first thing that comes up. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to eventually play the trailer, and I have it in my headphones here. I will kind of do a live reaction to it, and then once I'm done, we'll have like just some brief comments, notes, etc. about the trailer and just really getting hyped for all things Mandalorian that is coming up very soon here. But for those of you at home, if you want to follow along, now's the time to pause the episode and pull it up on your device of choice. It could be an iPad, a computer, an iPhone, a computer, etc. Whatever you got that has connection to an internet service that can play YouTube or videos, what have you. Do that now if you want to follow along. Otherwise, you may be like, "What is he talking about? I don't know." He's just kind of outwardly rambling, and that could be the case depending on how you think about this. But I like to have this as an engaged conversation as much as I can, even though I'm just talking into the mic here. But I feel like if you're watching along at home or kind of like having it side by side, then maybe we're geeking out together in a way, which I think is pretty cool. Also, it'll make sense because I don't wanna play the sounds of the trailer and all that stuff to potentially, get a strike or a flag against, the podcast here, which is something I definitely don't wanna happen. I wanna continue to keep these conversations going with you all, and I will do everything that I can to not let that come to pass. So, alright, we all know the ground rules, and if you can, pull the trailer up now, and I'm gonna hit play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. This is the way. Our people is really great. More Mandalorians, everybody. Everywhere. Look at that. That's a whole crew of them. The Naboo starfighter. Mm. Ooh. Look at that shot. Look at the hyperspace. That's great. Yeah, I guess you gotta know how to navigate the galaxy a little bit. about being survival and being alive. Man, Navarro is just really Quacky Monkey Lizard. Woo! Look at that. I mean, Grief Karga is really stepping up his game as being the magistrate, governor, whatever it is of Navarro. Ooh, he's going to Mandalore, folks. He's going. So he can be forgiven for his transgressions, right? He's feeling like an outsider, pariah. Look, Pelimoto, a little bit of Grogu. Oof. March 1st, my birthday. Carson Teva's investigating Dr. Pershing. What's happening out there in the galaxy? Whew. Wow, who's behind the wall, folks? Is it Anakin? That'd be great. Oh my gosh. Wow, look at those Mandalorians coming to fight. Is this Navarro? Is there gonna be some action sequence on Navarro again? Babu Frick, maybe? What's this creature? Grogu tosses aside. Oh my gosh. Oh, and I love that music cue at the end. Woo. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a trailer. That's how you bring it all home. I mean, come on now. How can you not be just ready to go out into the world and sing all the praises that is of The Mandalorian? Are you doing some rewatches to prep for all this? Maybe. I might have to do that here at home because golly gee, we're picking up right after all the events of the season 2 of The Mandalorian as well as the events of the Book of Boba Fett, which are still tying into this grand story that they're trying to tell here in whatever you want to call it, the Favreau Filoni verse, the post Return of the Jedi, Galaxy, pre Force Awakens. It is all on the table here. And boy, is there just little trinkets of stuff here, right? A little bit of Coruscant, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to see a Coruscant in a post Return of the Jedi world, a New Republic world. What is Dr. Pershing doing there? Is he on the good side now? Is he kind of like a doctor that we're trying to figure out what the remnants of the Empire are doing? Are we going to maybe see like a young Leia? Not necessarily like a young Leia, but like a Return of the Jedi era Leia. I mean, if we got the Luke stuff, what's to stop us from utilizing that as to continue the story? You got to imagine that's on the table at that point if we're looking at Coruscant this post time. I don't know technically where the capital of the New Republic is in this era, but you got to imagine Coruscant may be a good starting point. Wow, lots of Mandalorians too in this trailer. I mean, come on now. I know I was very fortunate to have been at Celebration and to have seen a little snippet of that in the Lucasfilm Showcase panel. And that was kind of the big deal is all the Mandalorians that were featured in the trailer, which is definitely at the forefront here. And this is a lot of new footage too from both the trailer that was released a couple months ago, I want to say, and also from that sneak peek that they did at Celebration. Now, I will say one notable absent character at this point in time is Bo-Katan, right? What's her deal at this time? I know people probably have been spoiled a little bit to all that stuff, but she's sitting on a throne in the I think from the footage that we saw at Celebration, and I think perhaps from the other trailer that was released earlier. So is she kind of leaning towards this dark side? Not necessarily embracing the dark side, but is she maybe teetering down a darker path than Din Djarin? Obviously, he's going to Mandalore. He's got to go to those uh, he's got to cleanse himself in that bath or something like that. I can't remember exactly from the Book of Boba Fett, but he's got to like cleanse himself in the waters of X underneath Mandalore or whatever it is, and that'll regain his ability to be part of the Children of the Watch or whatever, member of the Watch. Um, all the details are kind of fuzzy at this point because I'm just so geeking out about all this the cool stuff that we just saw in that trailer. I mean, what is Grogu doing? He looks like he's got a lot more handle on his force wielding abilities. He just tosses that guy aside, whatever is in his way. And to talk about really a traumatic sequence, I mean, we're going to see a little bit more of Order 66 from potentially Grogu's perspective, you got to imagine. And I know the internet's been running ablaze. Who's behind that door? Let the speculation run wild here. I mean, I could pose some theories here. I mean, it could be Anakin Skywalker. That's probably number one probability there, in my opinion. If I was a better on this, perhaps it is just a couple of clones that are steamrolling in. But this is really piggybacking off of what we saw a little bit in a Book of Boba Fett here. But maybe it's Anakin. So there's a lot more Jedi looking like it's in front of Grogu there, and maybe Anakin comes in and Grogu runs, or goes to a different area as those rogue or lone Jedi are facing off against Darth Vader right there. Yikes, that's terrifying. Man, I tell you what, I feel like I saw this on the internet too, but I agree with it in every way. Boy, we went from one scene of Order 66 back in 2005, and now I feel like in the last 4 or 5 years, we just seen all these different interpretations and advantage points of Order 66 coming to pass. And thanks, John Favreau and Dave Filoni, for constantly bringing it back up. That was just a funny joke that I wanted to share with you all. But I mean, also it's got some truth to it, and actuality as well. So that is all at the forefront here of all this, and it's great to see returning characters coming back too. It's all, of course, Dr. Pershing, Carson Teva, Din Djarin, of course, Grogu, but our friend Grief Karga is also back. It looks like he is what's the is he not the governor? He's the magistrate. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he's in charge of Navarro, basically. Marshal? No, he's not the marshal. Something. He's something in charge of governor. I think he might be governor. That might be the word, or the exact job title per se. But it looks like Navarro has really stepped up in terms of how it's looking these days. Quacky and Monkey Lizard is out and about. And boy, I mean, from the where we saw it in season 1 to a little bit of a progression that we saw in season 2 and The Mandalorian, this city is really vibrant under Grief Karga's leadership. But not to get down on stuff, but it looks like there's going to be an action sequence here taking place on this planet that is going to be wild. It's going to be wild. A lot of Mandalorians are coming out, and whew, we got a lot of outstanding questions, I think, for what's going on in this whole sequence that I'm excited to see come to pass. This is a really well done trailer, folks, and overall, I'm really excited for The Mandalorian and the new season. It's coming out on my birthday, at least the premiere episode March 1st, and it's going to be a really great time. I have to do a special episode of Force Ghost Conversations on that day. That's just going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to bring it all to you all as we get closer to this time. We're literally going to be in a few weeks here, a month out from the release of this new Star Wars content. I mean, it's not like we had a huge drought. We're going to be overlapping here. March is going to be a wild month in terms of the Star Wars content creation that we're going to have here at Forest Coast Conversations, with The Mandalorian Season 3, the end of Season 2 of The Bad Batch, and of course, the release of Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the video game that is the anticipated sequel to Fallen Order. All that's coming out in March. And then don't forget, at the beginning of April is going to be Star Wars Celebration in Europe, in London, which is going to be just fantastic. And I got some things coming down the pipeline that I think will be fun to keep folks engaged that are not able to attend. I personally will not be there, but I know a lot of you will be, and some of you will not be able to attend. But I think it's going to be a benefit to us that aren't able to attend, that it is, for the most part, 5 hours ahead of all of us. So most of the panels and activities will be done by pretty early in the afternoon in the United States, at least on the East Coast. So we're going to have a lot of time to just kind of dissect all the stuff and interact and have some fun things planned for in the evening. So get ready for all that. I think we got a lot of fun stuff coming down the pipeline. So I want to hear your thoughts. I would love for you to connect with us on all the social media channels and all that to talk about the goodness that is The Mandalorian Season 3 trailer. I can't believe we finally got an official trailer for this. And this along with the poster and the announcement of the directors, is the culmination of the start of the big marketing push for this series. Now, it doesn't necessarily need it because think the Mandalorian is a household name by this point. I mean, at Star Wars Celebration, you couldn't walk perhaps 10 feet without seeing a Mandalorian or a Mando Merc or someone dressed as Din Djarin in some capacity. This character is embedded in the DNA of Star Wars now, and it is carving out the post Return of the Jedi storytelling that is all on Disney Plus now for all of us to enjoy. So this is really great, folks. Be sure to check out the trailer a couple more times before the release. I feel like there's going to be a lot more to talk about as we get into all this. I mean, there's really not a hint at who the villain is of this series. Is it going to be Bo-Katan? What's the deal with Moff Gideon? Where is the kind of the remnants of the Empire? What is it going to tie into more of the First Order? Are the Dark Troopers going to make a return? Who knows? Is Boba Fett even going to show up? Who knows who's going to cross in and out of all this and what the deal is going to be? But man, I cannot wait. I hope you are all just excited as I am because this is going to be a great season of Star Wars. I would love to hear your thoughts. Check us out on the social media channels. We're available on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Hive, and Twitter. Just search for Force Ghost Conversations and we'll be there in some capacity. And I'd love to hear your thoughts overall on the trailer, what you're excited about, what you got to speculate on about in season 3 of The Mandalorian. It's going to be so much fun to just have those discussions week in and week out with all of you. And if you feel so inclined, tell your friends about the show too. We'd love for you to help us continue to grow the proverbial seats around the campfire that is Force Ghost Conversations. And we really appreciate your help in spreading the word. So if you can leave us a rating, a review, be sure to subscribe to the show on your podcatcher of choice. We'll really appreciate that. That goes a long way in helping us to beat the algorithms in order to come to the forefront of Star Wars podcast searches easier. And if you feel so inclined, we would appreciate if you checked out our TeePublic store. We can buy some Force Ghost Conversations merchandise. We have our Star Wars inspired logo. We also have our Willow inspired logo as well on that platform. So you can get a hoodie, a t-shirt, magnets, phone case covers, pillows. All of that is available on the site for your pleasure. And it literally, if you sport it around and all that stuff, that is a great way to also help us market the show in various places where I currently am not. So thank you for helping us to spread the word in advance. We really appreciate it. And of course, the support is I'm so grateful for all of it. And to all of you listeners, I thank you again for listening to Force Ghost Conversations. We got a lot of great stuff coming down the pipeline, including our Bad Batch Season 2 discussions, all the Willow stuff that we still have coming down the way, which is our kind of overview of Season 1 of Willow, and the documentary that I mentioned in our Cloud City Gossip segment. So all that is coming down the pipeline, as well as to get ready for our Mandalorian discussion, Star Wars Celebration, and of course, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. A lot of great stuff is on the way and in the pipeline, and I'm ready to bring all of our discussions to you all at home here from Force Ghost Conversations. And with that, folks, that is all that I had for this week. We'll be back on Wednesday with our Bad Batch Season 2 episode discussion on the episode called Faster, which is a really fun little piece of Star Wars storytelling. So I'm excited to bring that with you. And of course, our wonderful guest, Mrs. Force Ghost Conversations, Elise King, will be back on that show to provide her insights on the Bad Batch, which is really excellent. So until then, folks, may the Force be with you. Take care.